Hey, kindergarten. Yesterday we started working on our main idea lesson. Today we're going to take it a little bit further and we're going to be learning about something called a main idea Sunday. So if you notice, I drew a big old ice cream cone full of lots of scoops of ice cream. And we're going to get to how that's going to help us figure out what books are about. So in order to do this today, we are going to use the book that we read yesterday, which was Zara's Hats. So I want you to try to remember everything that you asked yourself, the who, what, where, when, why, how. I want you to remember all those details because we're going to use those to help figure out our main idea. So do you remember the 5 W's and the H? If you do, tell them to somebody at home. I'm going to write them down. There's 5 W's. Who? What? Where? When? Why? And since there's questions, I'm going to do a question mark. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer these questions to help figure out the details that lead to the main idea. So basically the way that your main idea Sunday works is that all of the details that make up the full ice cream cone, the main idea, will help us figure it out. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out based on all the questions I know. So I want you to take a minute to think about everything that you remember from that story. So we need to remember the most important things that happened in that story. I remember that the most important thing that happened was that I know who, Zara, and what did she do? Zara made hats. That was important. So I'm going to write Zara's family makes hats. So that's a very important detail. That's pretty much the whole story is that they're making hats. So then I let you think, what else happened that's really important? Oh, I'm thinking the what that happened. So they were making hats until they ran out of something. Do you remember what it was? Feathers. They ran out of feathers. So I'm going to add that as my second detail. So they ran out of feathers. All right. So then when they ran out of feathers, do you remember what Zara did? Zara made new hats with her family. And why did she do that? Why did she make them? So when her father was gone, what made her want to make these hats? Oh, she was sad at looking at the window, right? So that's kind of our why. So she was sad. That can help us figure out why she's doing all this. She was sad and loved her family, right? That was their thing. Remember the setting. This happens in their shop. They make hats. So I've answered all those questions. You don't have to do all this like I wrote. Just do it in your head, but use those to help you think about the main details. So think about those details. So Zara's family made hats. They ran out of feathers. Those are 2 important things. Oh, and the dad left. And that made her realize how much she missed her dad, right? So that's important that her dad left. And finally, Zara made new hats, right? So I'm going to put all those together because, in a sundae, it's made of chocolate, maybe cherries, ice cream, and an ice cream cone. So all those juicy details are going to make one really good main idea sundae. So now I'm going to go ahead and write what I think the main idea is. And remember the story, it's what it's mainly about, what it's trying to tell us. So I know that her family makes hats. She gets sad when her dad left and they made out of feathers. So the main idea that is Zara, she wanted to Think about her family is really important, right? And she wanted to help them, right? So Zara wanted to help her family. And how did she want to do that? By making hats. So there's no right or wrong answer as long as you're somewhere around this idea here. But the main idea of this story that I was trying to teach us is that Zara wanted to help her family by making her hats. She saw that her dad was sad. She saw that everyone was being sad, so she wanted to help out. So the story is trying to teach us how to help others, in your family when you love them. So I hope you figured that out. Now you're going to get a chance to do this with your own story. So pick out a good story. Figure out those main details, all the events that happen in the story and the characters, and then try to figure out what the main idea is. You can ask an adult to help you write, but I do want you to think all on your own. Good luck, kindergarten. I hope you guys do awesome like I know you will.